Hello dear friends, welcome back again. Merry Christmas everyone. Stay tuned with me to the end, where the holiday magic comes alive. Grab your hot cocoa, snuggle up, and let's spread some cheer together this season. Let me start the family talk stories. My friend is having an affair, we plan to tell her husband. Lila Carter, 38-year-old, had known Anna West, 38-year-old, for over 2 decades. Their bond, formed in the hallways of their high school, was one that had endured the test of time. Over the years, their circle grew to include 3 other close friends, and as they matured, their families naturally blended into a tight-knit group. Christmas dinners, birthday parties, and Easter celebrations became shared traditions, moments of laughter and warmth that reaffirmed their connection. Lila's partner, Greg Martin, M39, was as close to Darren West, M39, Anna's husband, as Lila was to Anna. The two couples had shared countless double dates and vacations. Darren, with his easy smile and selfless nature, was a devoted father and husband, the kind of man everyone respected. But the perfect exterior of their lives was about to disintegrate. One calm evening, as the two ladies shared coffee in Anna's sunlit kitchen, Anna inclined forward, her voice low and confessional. "Lila, there's something I need to tell you. But you've got to promise me, no judgment and no telling anyone." Alarm bells rang in Lila's mind, but she gestured hesitantly. I've been seeing someone," Anna admitted, her cheeks flushing. "It's been going on for months. It's Mark." Lila's breath caught. "Mark? Darren's sister's ex?" Anna gestured, her expression rebellious yet conflicted. "We have a connection, Lila. Something I haven't felt with Darren in years." Lila struggled to prepare the revelation. She tuned in as Anna point-by-point secret meet, whispered conversations, and the growing chasm she felt in her marriage. At that minute, Lila chose to stay neutral, offering a number of mumbled words of support. Days turned into weeks, and the burden of Anna's mystery began to weigh heavily on Lila. The more she reflected, the more disgusted she felt by the betrayal. Darren, a man who had done nothing but cherish and back Anna, was being deceived within the most significant way. Lila decided to trust in Greg, knowing it was a hazard but unwilling to carry the mystery alone. Greg's reaction was quick and visceral. "Darren doesn't merit this," Greg said, his voice thick with emotion. "He needs to know." Lila informed Anna that Greg knew. The aftermath was quick. Anna's anger was substantial, her allegations cutting. "You deceived me, Lila. You swore you wouldn't tell anyone." "Anna, I couldn't keep this from Greg," Lila said solidly. "He's Darren's companion. He merits to know what's happening." "You do not understand," Anna snapped. "I'm stuck. Financially, I can't take off him. We have an overseas trip arranged. Do you think I want to destroy my family right before that?" Lila shook her head. "You're already crushing it, Anna. This isn't about us. It's about Darren. He has the right to know the truth." The decision to tell Darren weighed heavily on both Lila and Greg. They set a date 2 weeks out, giving themselves time to prepare for the inevitable fallout. Meanwhile, Anna's resentment simmered. She avoided Lila, her once friendly texts now curt and infrequent. Greg reached out to Darren under the guise of a casual hangout. Darren, oblivious, agreed to meet, his cheerful demeanor a painful contrast to the storm brewing beneath the surface. The day arrived. Lila and Greg met Darren at a neighborhood bar, the atmosphere tense. Over brews and awkward little conversation, Greg at last broached the subject. "Darren, there's something we need to tell you," Greg started, his voice overwhelming with feeling. "It's about Anna." The words came tumbling out, each revelation hitting Darren like a blow. He listened in shocked quiet, his face pale and his hands clenched tightly around his glass. I can't believe this," Darren finally said, his voice barely over a whisper. "Why would she do this?" The consequence was as chaotic as anticipated. Darren confronted Anna that evening, their argument loud enough for the neighbors to catch. The truth was out, and there was no turning back. Anna's reaction was a blend of resistance and lose hope. She charged Lila and Greg of interfering, of demolishing her carefully developed facade. Darren, heartbroken, stuffed a bag and left the house that night, looking for refuge with Greg and Lila. Within the weeks that followed, the group energetic shifted. Darren began the difficult process of healing, leaning heavily on Greg for support. Lila, in the meantime, grappled with the loss of her friendship with Anna. One day, Anna reached out to Lila. "I'm sorry for how things ended," she said, her voice trembling. I made mistakes. But I hope one day you can forgive me." Lila's reaction was measured. "I hope you find what you're seeking out for Anna. But absolution doesn't mean forgetting." Months later, Darren finalized the divorce, emerging stronger and more self-assured. He threw himself into his work, his children, and rebuilding his life. Lila and Greg remained steadfast friends, their bond with Darren deepened by the ordeal. As for Anna, she moved on, her choices leading her down a path separate from the group. Her betrayal, while painful, served as a catalyst for growth and change for everyone involved. Story 2. Cutting off my best friend after she talked to my cheating ex-husband behind my back and made hurtful comments. It was a snowy Christmas Eve when Emma Blake, 37F, first discovered the devastating truth about her husband, Alex, 38M. The picturesque scene outside their suburban home, twinkling lights, snow-covered streets, and carolers humming in the distance, contrasted starkly with the storm brewing inside her heart. After 12 years together, 8 of them as husband and wife, Emma had believed she and Alex were solid. But a harmless slip, a forgotten text message, had unraveled it all. The name, Samantha, glared back at her, went with by coquettish messages that left no room for doubt. It was from Alex's colleague, somebody he'd casually specified during dinner discussions as, just a friend. Emma stood up to Alex that night. His beginning refusals quickly disintegrated under her penetrating look. "I didn't mean for it to happen," he murmured, his voice a blend of shame and resistance. But the disloyalty was irreparable. Emma's trust, the foundation of their years together, smashed like glass. In the consequence, Emma leaned heavily on her best friend, Sarah Hart, 38F. They had been indivisible since college, their bond fashioned over late-night consider sessions, shared heartbreaks, and endless bottles of wine. When Emma told Sarah about the disloyalty, Sarah appeared thoughtful, advertising comforting words and endless reassurances. "You deserve so much superior," she'd said, her green eyes filled with what Emma interpreted as solidarity. Emma's one ask Sarah and their mutual friends was simple. Do not keep up a relationship with Alex. At first, life post-Alex was an obscure of treatment sessions and attempts to rebuild her life. Emma tossed herself into work, yoga classes, and reconnecting with old leisure activities. But Sarah's behavior started to move. During their week-by-week coffee catch-ups, Sarah would drop unsettling comments. "Did you know Alex got promoted?" she'd say casually. "He's managing a modern venture now." "How would you know that?" Emma asked one day, doubt creeping in. "Oh, he posted about it online," Sarah replied with a dismissive wave. However, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that Sarah knew too much. Her unease turned into full-blown disloyalty when their common friend, Rachel, revealed that Sarah had been meeting Alex for coffee and exchanging writings. The revelation sent Emma's world turning yet again. When Emma stood up to Sarah, the climate crackled with tension. They met at Sarah's apartment, the cozy setting at chances with the stormy feelings. "How may you?" Emma's voice trembled, anger and awfulness blending. "I asked you for one thing, Sarah." "One thing." Sarah leaned back on her lounge chair, her arms crossed protectively. "Emma, I'm not planning to throw away my connection with Alex just because you two couldn't make it work," she said coldly. The words stung like a whip. Emma's hands clenched. He betrayed me, Sarah. And now you're doing the same. What followed was a heated exchange, culminating in Sarah blaming Emma of being controlling and excessively passionate. You always play the victim, Sarah spat. Maybe that's why he cheated. The venom in those words was the ultimate straw. Emma stood, her voice trembling but steadfast. I can't trust you anymore, Sarah. We're done. As Emma separated herself from Sarah, she found herself re-evaluating her life and relationships. During a organizing event, she met Ethan Monroe, a charming business person with a speedy mind and an atmosphere of puzzle. Their beginning discussions were electric, filled with playful exchange and subtle flirtation. Ethan's intrigue in Emma was clear, however he never pushed, regarding the boundaries she was still exploring. Their late-night content trades, in spite of the fact that guiltless, carried an undercurrent of enticement that made Emma feel alive once more. One evening, after a particularly challenging day, Ethan shocked her with tickets to a local jazz concert. The intimate setting, coupled with Ethan's attentive demeanor, revived a start Emma had thought quenched. She wasn't ready to name their connection, but for the first time in months, she felt trust. Months afterward, Sarah come to out. Her message was long, filled with expressions of remorse and clarifications. I miss you, Em. I made a mistake. Can we meet and talk? Against her better judgment, Emma agreed. Their meeting at a quaint coffee shop was fraught with tension. Sarah's apology seemed sincere, but when Emma voiced her pain and distrust, Sarah's defensive side resurfaced. I only stayed friends with Alex because of how you treated me that one time a long time ago, Sarah said, digging up past grievances. The conversation weakened. Sarah's words developed trivial and accusatory, her beginning regret dominated by sharpness. Emma left the coffee shop, her heart heavy but her mind clear. The experience with Sarah reinforced Emma's resolve. Cutting Sarah out wasn't just about ending a harmful friendship, it was about choosing self-respect and setting boundaries. She blocked Sarah's number and chosen to focus on the people who really supported her. With Ethan, her connection deepened. He admired her resilience and encouraged her to embrace her newfound strength. One evening, as they walked along the city's waterfront, he took her hand and said, "You've been through hell, Emma, but you've come out shining. Let's build something beautiful together." Story 3. If I broke up with my boyfriend because he didn't propose. Emma Hartley, F27, had always envisioned a life of love, stability, and shared dreams. Her boyfriend, Liam Dawson, M26, had become her anchor over the past 2 years. Their connection was undeniable, and living together for the last 9 months had only deepened their bond. Yet, as their 2-year anniversary approached, Emma couldn't shake the anticipation and the anxiety. Around Christmas the previous year, Emma had expressed her desire for an engagement. It wasn't an ultimatum but a heartfelt wish. They'd reached a compromise. Liam promised it would happen sometime this year. That promise had carried her through months of hope and daydreams, culminating in the belief that their anniversary would mark the beginning of their next chapter. The evening of their anniversary was picture-perfect on the surface. Liam had planned a lovely dinner, and their conversations were filled with laughter and warmth. But as the night progressed and no proposal came, Emma's heart sank. Later that evening, as they relaxed on the couch, Emma decided to address her feelings. "Liam, I need to be honest," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "I really thought tonight would be the night. I'm disappointed." Liam sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Emma, I know you've been expecting this, but I'm not ready. I don't know when I will be." The words hit Emma like a physical blow. "But we agreed," she said, her voice breaking. "You promised it would happen this year." Liam looked away, unable to meet her eyes. "I know what I said, but things have changed. I don't want to feel pressured into something this big." The days that followed were tense and filled with arguments. Emma's disappointment turned into frustration as she tried to understand Liam's hesitancy. It's not just about the proposal, she told him during one heated discussion. It's about what this means for our future. If you're not ready now, will you ever be? How can I trust that we're on the same path? Liam's responses were evasive, and his unwillingness to compromise further only deepened Emma's fears. She began to question whether this relationship was built on mutual respect and shared dreams or if she had been fooling herself all along. One evening, Emma decided to approach the conversation differently. Instead of confronting Liam, she shared her fears and dreams in a more open and vulnerable way. "Liam, I'm not trying to pressure you," she said softly. "But you need to understand where I'm coming from. I've always dreamed of having my first child before I turned 30. With the time it takes to plan a wedding and build our lives, I feel like time is slipping away. This isn't just about a ring, it's about us building a life together." Liam listened intently, his expression unreadable. When she finished, he finally spoke. "I get it, Emma. But I'm not going to propose just to meet a timeline. It has to feel right for me too." "I understand that," Emma replied, her voice trembling. "But can't you give me something? Some kind of sign that you want this too? It doesn't have to be a proposal, just something." Liam's response was curt. "I'm not going to do that. If you can't trust me, then maybe we have bigger problems." Emma spent sleepless nights replaying their conversations. She had tried to compromise, even apologizing for pressuring him, but Liam's unwillingness to meet her halfway left her feeling hopeless. She confided in her best friend, Sarah, who listened patiently before offering advice. "Emma, you deserve someone who's as committed to you as you are to them. If Liam can't even give you a token of his intent, what does that say about his priorities?" Emma's heart ached at the thought of leaving Liam, but Sarah's words resonated deeply. One evening, as Liam sat engrossed in a video game, Emma approached him with a heavy heart. "Liam, we need to talk," she said. He paused the game and turned to her, sensing the seriousness of her tone. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," she began. "And I realized that I can't keep sacrificing my dreams and values for a relationship where I don't feel secure. I love you, but I need to know that we're moving forward together. Right now, I don't see that happening." Liam's face fell. "So, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I need to step away," Emma said, tears streaming down her face. "I can't keep waiting for something that might never come." The breakup was painful, but Emma found solace in her decision. She began focusing on herself, rediscovering hobbies, and leaning on her support system. While she mourned the end of her relationship, she also felt a newfound sense of empowerment. As for Liam, he reached out weeks later, expressing regret and a willingness to reconsider his stance. But Emma had made her choice. She realized that love wasn't just about feelings, it was about actions and shared goals. Months later, Emma met someone new. He was kind, supportive, and shared her vision for the future. While she didn't rush into anything, she felt hopeful for the first time in a long while. Looking back, Emma understood that letting go of Liam wasn't about giving up, it was about standing up for herself and the life she deserved. Her dreams were too important to compromise, and now, she was finally on a path to achieving them.